OPM's report, wages, and designated survivors, all on today's Fednobabble. Welcome to Fednobabble, where we take federal retirement benefits and make them understandable for humans. I'm Kevin Jones.
And I'm Cassie Knight. We take questions from Fednobabble.com and Kevin's Fed Pilot workshops and webinars and we answer them right here on the show. So let's jump in. What's the first question?
Question number one is,
should that report be completed even though I'm 20 plus years from retirement?
Right. Now, that report that they're talking about, we talked in the last episode, or maybe this episode before that, the Certified Summary of Federal Service from OPM. That's what they're talking about. Is should I get that even though I'm way far away from federal or from retirement? And here's my thought. I'll give you my thought. Cassie, you give your thought. Maybe it's the same, maybe it's different. But
okay.
You know what? People ask this all the time, and I say, I don't care where you are in your service, go get it. Because you want to make sure that they are on the right path and capturing everything. And then I personally say do it every 5 years just to make sure. Is that overkill? Probably. But it's going to make sure that nothing is messed up. So that's my opinion.
Right. No, and I think that's super, super good. Not only get the report from the certified summary, but take a look at your retirement report as well, whether that's from HR, OPM, or simply your financial advisor. Because as you guys know, we provide those reports from our for employees from our trusted advisors when they submit that information. That's part of what Fed Options does, is provide that back office support. Yeah. And I think it's super helpful to get all the information you can, because that way when you're doing that retirement planning and you're looking at your financial picture, you can really set yourself up for some great success later on in life. So the earlier, the better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you. I find so many people, unfortunately, the majority of the people who come to workshops are going to retire, let's say in 5 years. Mm-hmm. They're closer to retirement, which makes sense. But the unfortunate thing is that what they've been told all along is you don't need to figure this out until you're 5 years or so. And in fact, that's what the law is, right? The law says that the government will pay for 8 hours of training for you if you're 5 years from retirement. And so everyone gets that in their mind of, okay, I'm going to wait till 5 years from retirement to try to figure this out. No. Go find this out now. I don't care how, if you're 20 years from retirement or 20 days, go figure it out now and don't put this off. That's my
they're actually supposed to have information about their benefits the beginning, middle, and end of their career, and they call it the end when they're 5 years to retirement.
Yeah.
But so many agencies only just do, give the information at the beginning and then, obviously try and get in touch with the employee at the end. And obviously they have to have some sort of retirement training or something in their agencies, within that 5-year period. That is required. But I don't think there's enough, awareness or anything, encouragement to take action while you're in service. It doesn't matter if you just started. It doesn't matter if you're only 5 years in. It doesn't matter if you have 10 years and you still have 20 years. It's super duper important to take a look at your financial plan or your retirement plan, whatever that is for you, and really make sure that you're doing what is necessary for you to have the responsibility of your retirement plan in your lap.
Yeah.
Right.
When I worked at NASA as a consultant, I worked there for 6 years, and I would hear people all the time say, I'm just working for retirement. But do you think they were planning for it? No.
Yeah.
Mentally, they were just holding out mentally as that's all they were saying. They were saying I'm actually
Right.
preparing for it, and really it's interesting that we could spend one half of our adult life in retirement. That's a lot to
Mhm.
prepare for. We don't want to just jump into and say, "Oh, I'm here. Okay, what do you give me?" I've heard and have seen way too
Right.
many people do that.
Too often. And I think federal employees, not to pick on them or anything, but they just have this mentality like, I've got these great benefits and they're going to be there in retirement.
Right.
Well, okay, but, and the government is going to give you a pension, but it's not going to be what your paycheck is,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? The cost of living obviously increases every year because we all complain about the gas prices and the grocery
Yeah.
prices and all of these different things, right? Health insurance is going up at an exceptional rate. And, all of these different factors really need to get taken care of or thought of, I should say, um, in that retirement phase because you don't know what that's going to look like 20 years from now,
No, you
right?
don't.
However, you can really set yourself up if you know what those numbers are going to look like. So that way, you know what you need to have in the bank. You know what you need to have in your TSP. You know what your FEGLI is going to do. You know what your FEHB is going to do. You know what all of those things, or at least to the best of our abilities, for what the policies are currently on the rules and regulations. But you can at least set it up to, okay, if this happens, this is what my plan is going to be. And if something else happens, here's what my plan is going to be, because then
Yes.
you have that, um, damage control
Yep.
in that plan. Because so often you can say, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do. And then, your spouse gets sick, they get
Yep.
cancer. Then what?
Yep. It's
Right.
those contingency plans. I mean, how many federal
Mhm.
employees are in their work working on projects, right? A lot of federal employees are working on projects, and there are always the contingency plans. Okay, well, let's do this, but if through that we discover that we have to take a right turn and go somewhere else and try something else. The same should be with our retirement plan. It shouldn't be, okay, point A to point B done. I mean, most people don't even do point A to point B. They just say, okay, the government is going to give it to me. And you said, not picking on federal employees, but I get it at the same time. Federal employees are typically told that basically the premise comes across as you're going to be taken care of. In your retirement, we're going to give you what you need. No.
Right.
No, it isn't that way, unfortunately. I mean, and if it is, and I say this all the time, if you just take the default of what the government gives you, then who is it going to benefit more, the government or you?
Yep.
And we know the answer right there, right? So again, it's so important. Okay, we talked about that. We got to get on to the next question, but
Yep.
good. We could go on with that discussion for a long time, but it's that important.
Hmm. Okay. Does the earnings test include interest income from investments or just wages?
That's an easy one.
So, yes, it is.
Go for it.
It is strictly from wages,
Wages.
whether that's earned income
Hmm?
from employment or earned income from a business. As a business owner, it doesn't matter. It is strictly on your earned income that you have um, coming in. It's not any investment, just
Right.
wages.
Basically, what you get from W 2 or 1099. There you go. If it
Mm-hmm.
comes from anything else like TSP or pension or even interest or what we'll call owner draws from a business, it doesn't count those as well. It's just what you're working for in wages. Pretty simple.
Yep.
Okay. I like it. I like it to be that easy sometimes.
Yes. Okay. If you have a designated, hold on. If you have designated a benefit survivor in TSP and have not chosen the annuitization, will the balance be available to that person?
So I think what they're saying
Okay.
there is there is that annuity on the front page of the annual TSP statement, and they're saying
Right.
if we don't take that, then will the balance be given to someone if I die, to the, beneficiary if I die? Um, and the
Now, I'm
answer,
curious if they mean if you have designated a beneficiary, not a benefit survivor. Because if you take any sort of survivor, like, uh, the TSP says, oh yeah, you can pick, the self only option, you can pick the survivor benefit, 50% or whatever, then you're annuitizing with
right,
MetLife. Like that is annuitization of your TSP, right? But if you
right.
just name a beneficiary and it won't be available to the beneficiary until after you pass, because that's how that works.
Yep.
But, so you can't, I guess the simple answer is no. That person is not going to have access to your TSP unless you've passed away. And it doesn't even matter if you've named a beneficiary because TSP will put it in the order of precedence, right? After they do their piece of it.
Well, not if you have a beneficiary, it skips the order of precedence, the standard order of precedence. It just
Right.
completely skips that.
Right. I'm saying if they don't have a beneficiary named, then it
Okay.
will automatically go to the order of precedence.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. So
Right.
I guess because the TSP has, I think, 18 different annuities overall that you can do that most people don't even, they see that one on the statement and think, okay, they have that one. No, there are actually 18 if you dive in. And there are
Mm-hmm.
different, and there are different, if you were to die, different amounts that the survivor, the beneficiary would receive. So it depends which one you do. And then at the same time, let's say you do none of those, and then you do the what am I thinking of? Where you get it just
With
the
withdrawal
installments,
options.
yeah, withdrawal
Mm-hmm.
options or the installments. Then the remaining amount does go to the beneficiary. Now, here's the question that most people don't understand is, and I almost want to just leave this. You know what? Let's just leave this as a question, maybe for another time, because we could go
Okay.
on about this one. If is there any difference between leaving your money in your TSP to your spouse and leaving it to your children? Is it treated the same way?
Oh, I'm sure we'll get that one.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll get
And
there. But
and
that's a
here's the
question
thing.
again. Most people don't even think about, and they think, okay, I'm going to leave it to my spouse, and if not my spouse, then I'm going to leave it to my children, and assume that, oh, my children are going to get it just like my spouse did. No, it's different. We won't go into that right now,
Right.
but it's just another
Right.
question that people don't even know to ask.
I've actually gotten that a few times from financial advisors,
Yeah,
right? Where they're like, well, how does it work if somebody else is named, if it's not a spouse? Because maybe they're not married, right? And
yeah,
can they name somebody else? And can they name a charity or an organization or what have you? And how does that work after that happens? Because obviously, the rules for the beneficiary accounts are a lot different than they are for the regular TSP. And so, so many different factors to think about here. But essentially,
right.
the bottom line is name a beneficiary on your TSP, right? That's huge.
Got to get that
Uh,
done.
I can't tell you, I can't tell you how often I see TSP statements from employees and there's no beneficiary named,
Right. That's so sad.
right? Like, it is because the standard order of precedence, of course, that's going to go to the government first and then your spouse or whoever's next of kin or whatever. And it really bothers me that tsp.gov has that, don't worry about it. We'll take
Yes,
care of you.
I know.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Take responsibility of your money. Okay.
right.
Because I those aren't small balances. Okay. Make sure it goes where you want it to.
Because if you don't take responsibility, we will, is what the government is saying. You
Yep.
don't need to worry about it. Let us take responsibility for that, and you're good to go. No. Ugh.
Gotta love the government.
Yep. Yep.
They're
Thankfully, they
awesome.
do
So,
have just overall, just to get anything, a pension and these benefits, it's great because a lot of people in the United States don't do that. They have to do it all on their own. So they're in the mentality already of,
right.
I've got to do it on my own. The danger of having the government give some to you is thinking that the government's going to take care of me when I get into retirement, when that's not quite the case. That they may help
Not
out, but
always.
it's not going to be taken care of. It's totally different than that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if you guys want to know what those numbers look like for you, and you want to help us get you in touch with somebody who can really, uh, dialogue down and talk with you about those federal benefits and see what those numbers are going to look like in the future, whether it's what's my TSP balance going to be or my pension, how is my FEHB going to be affected, please go to fednobabble.com, submit the information. We'll get you in touch with a trusted advisor who can understands these benefits and can really help you out. Also, don't forget to submit a question. Please be as detailed as possible so that way we can make sure that we understand it and interpret it correctly and get you the answer that you're looking for. So,
Yeah, and
um,
if you would,
and
please also
yep.
share and subscribe and like and all that good stuff. Your friends, your
Mm-hmm.
coworkers need to know the same information as well. Don't you be enlightened and have all this great information and then not share it at all and then they're in the dark. I'd hate to see that happen at all.
Right.
But please go share and subscribe, like, hit the notifications button as well. And until next time, take care and go make it a good retirement.